overwhelmed by the way the world is going with AI, inflation, and just general adult life? Here are some tips to get ahead in 2024. There are 3 very important things you will need if you want to build your self-confidence, create a life you want, and make yourself very valuable in this world where AI seems to be taking over a lot of the industries. Welcome to What If We Can. This is a channel where we expand our idea of what's possible by trying and learning new things together. If you've seen any of my other videos, they've probably been with my husband, where we go and adventure and basically ask the question, what if we can? That's the question we want you guys to ask on this channel. So the very first thing you need is a quality mindset. There's something called a paradigm, which is basically your beliefs, thoughts, and feelings towards life. It's kind of like the pair of glasses that you put on, which helps you see a certain way. So if you have a bad mindset or paradigm, it could kind of be like putting on a pair of glasses that doesn't fit your prescription and life is a little bit blurry. Whereas somebody else who has a quality mindset might be wearing the most perfect glasses for them and they're seeing life crisp, detailed, they're not missing a thing. And with somebody who, being somebody who wears contacts, the difference is very, very big when I put my contacts on compared to when I don't. Let's say you have a belief that you can't become an actor and that being an actor is unrealistic. Well, why would you try to become an actor? You wouldn't. You wouldn't because you don't believe it's possible. There's no reason for you to attempt something you don't think is possible. It's the same thing as, trying to fly. You're not going to attempt flying if you don't believe it's possible. It doesn't make sense. And so the groundwork for creating a life you want or building a business or anything is making sure that your beliefs are in the right place. We think that we know ourselves, but the reality is that we don't really know ourselves that well. And a lot of times we're uncomfortable with what is inside of us. We're uncomfortable with the beliefs that we hold. We're uncomfortable with the feelings we have. And so we don't really know ourselves. We block out anything that makes us uncomfortable. And that can cause a big problem. If you were to ignore a person or an individual, you would not know them at all. So we need to be able to be curious about ourselves and ask ourselves questions. We need to learn to get to know ourselves. And the only way we're going to figure out what our paradigm is by getting to know ourselves. And so I have a list of questions. I am going to put a document down below. It's very important that you guys take action on what I'm saying because nothing that I say matters unless you do something about it. And you can learn all you want, but unless you take this and do it, it's not going to be a difference. So please go through the questions. But a few of the questions you can ask yourself: what am I afraid of? What do I really want that I'm not being honest with myself about? Am I living a life that I feel proud of? What would a life that I feel proud of look like? Are there skill sets that I don't believe are possible? Why can't I be consistent? What's maybe causing that inconsistency in my life? There's so many questions you can ask yourself, and I really would encourage you guys to just go through that list of questions. It will just be so huge. So after you spend some time getting to know yourself, taking yourself out on a date, journaling, figuring out what you really think about life, you now have a foundation. You're not gonna go and try to find a solution to somebody's problem without knowing what the problem is. And so we need to spend some time figuring out what is our problem. And the only way you're gonna figure out what your problem is by asking yourself questions and being willing to look at it. And this can be painful, but from personal experience, this is one of the most rewarding things I have ever done. So now once you know the problem, you're gonna write down that problem. And if that problem is in the form of a belief, then there is some really cool exercises to basically change your paradigm and change your mindset. One of my favorite ones is by Tony Robbins, and I have used this one and it has just been absolutely incredible. He gets you to write down a bunch of limiting beliefs. Pick 1 or 2 that you're like, okay, I want to go for these. You circle them and you choose a belief. I always believed that responsibility is a bad thing. Like, you should avoid responsibility at all costs. And I really saw this play out in my life a lot. I would often be that person that other people would kind of have to pick up the slack for because I wasn't responsible for myself. And I definitely wasn't responsible for other people. And so when it came to my career, when it came to my cleanliness, when it came to my mindset, my finances, you name it, I would avoid responsibility. And so I really didn't like this about myself because when I got married, it became a big point of conversation because I wasn't taking responsibility. One of the questions you ask is, what is this belief costing me? Or what is this belief charging me? And I was like, shoot, that belief was charging me a solid career. That belief was charging me consistent income. That belief was charging me quality friendships. That belief was charging me joy in my marriage. One of the other questions is, what will your life look like if you don't change this belief? What will your relationships look like? What will your finances, your career? With that belief, I'll never take responsibility. I'll never be anything more than I am right now. I won't be willing to step up to the plate and pursue my passions because they take responsibility. I will run away from life itself. I will always feel guilt and shame for not stepping up to the plate. I will never be a leader. I will never influence. So many things came up from that. And I didn't want to touch that belief with a 10-foot pole after doing this exercise. I wanted to run away from that belief because it became so obvious to me that the parasite, that this belief that I thought was so justified was causing me so much harm. Because on the flip side, I think the way that I justified that belief was the fact that responsibility is difficult and you can fail. If you fail and you're responsible, then you're responsible and people can blame you and they can punish you and now you have to pick up the slack. And I didn't want to be a failure, so I didn't want to put myself in a situation where I could fail. But that was really harming me. Okay, well, the next question is this. Who is succeeding in this area and what do they believe differently than you? I thought about my husband, Vitaly. Because my husband Vitaly takes on responsibility really well. He believes that responsibility is your purpose in life, that to take care of your responsibilities is what you're here to do, and whatever those responsibilities are. And so that's like so different than mine. And so I kind of wrote that down, like, okay, well, this is a belief that's actually working for him. And you don't want to take a belief that you feel like you don't really enjoy. Like, take a belief from somebody you admire, who you actually want to be like. So I wrote that belief down. I wrote it on my wall and I just reinforced it. I did read it every day. There's different methods to this. You can put a sticky note on your table. You can put it on your iPhone. You can read it every day. I found reading it to be effective. And I've been able to take so much more responsibility in my life. It's been quite a wonderful change. And although I'm not perfect in that area, I see the beauty of responsibility and I find joy in it now, more than I find sorrow and avoidance. Anyways, all that being said, it's a little bit long. I just wanted to give you an authentic version of how that can look like. But if I'm always avoiding responsibility, I'm never going to take responsibility and therefore build a career that I'm happy with, because in order to build a career you're happy with, you have to take responsibility. You got to start with your mindset. The next important thing is a vision. I know we hear vision thrown around a million times, but if you don't create a vision properly, you'll find yourself creating a life that you find out you didn't really want. So here is a way to avoid that. There are two types of motivation for your vision. There's intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation. Extrinsic motivation is basically anything outside of you. So a car, a house, fame, admiration, acceptance, anything that's like someone or something has to give you or you have to purchase. And these can be intangible or tangible, right? Intrinsic motivation comes from inside of you. It is a motivation of pure enjoyment of the moment or of the activity itself. Some of those things could be curiosity, passion, fun, joy, connection, freedom. And so both are really important. If you don't have any extrinsic motivation, then you're probably going to create a life where you're just like, I don't know, you're just on the street and you don't have anything in society, you don't have a house, you don't have anything to show for it, right? So we want both. But if you are only going for extrinsic value and extrinsic motivation, which is what most people do, then you find yourself in a situation where your life may look perfect from the outside or seem perfect, but it is absolutely not. And you're lacking meaning and fulfillment inside. And so when you're planning your vision, you need to think about both things. What do you do for pure joy? What do you enjoy doing? Because life is mostly the journey, not the outcome, right? The extrinsic stuff is the outcome and the intrinsic is the journey. So we really want to do both. And so as an example, I have a vision board and I'll put it up on the screen here for you guys to see with my husband. And so you can see the vision board is full of things that I want to see in my life, that I want to have, that I want to experience from other people. And then I have a lot of internal feelings, things that really matter to me, things that are fun, that just, they don't have anything, some sort of outcome for me. I actually enjoy the process. So make sure when you're crafting your vision that you do both of those things, because you will be a lot more motivated for it. Secondly, you need to have a deep why. There is something called the 5 whys, and it's kind of annoying. It's kind of like a kid just asking you why 5 million times, but it's very effective. So when you have a vision, let's say, okay, I want to make $100,000. Why? So I can put a down payment on a house. Why? So that I can own property and a home and live with my husband there and hopefully make equity on the house and make money as an investment. Why? Because I care about financial freedom and I want to have enough money to do what I want in life. Why? Because that matters and I want to reach my full potential and hopefully I can leave a legacy for my children. Do you see how like the motivation keeps getting deeper and deeper? So keep asking yourself those why questions. That motivation is what's going to keep you going. When you lose the quote unquote feeling of motivation, you will remind yourself of why you're doing it. You might not always feel the motivation, but as long as you can see the reasoning behind what you're pursuing, it will keep you going. It is absolutely vital. You will need to renew this. You will need to look at it every few months and make sure you're paying attention to your reason, because the losing motivation is so easy when we are not focused on why we want what we want, because some shiny object, some opportunity is going to come up and we're going to go running for that. And I am so guilty of that because I love to do a million things. Now, a vision does not matter and will not get you anywhere without a good strategy or plan. So here is how you can create an effective strategy or plan. You want to work backwards, okay? So we want to work from your vision and figure out what you will need to get there. So let's say you want to make $100,000 doing content creation. Okay, how many videos will you need to make in a year to make $100,000? Let's say, just for an example, that a video is $1,000. Well, now you're going to have to create 100 videos in order to make $100,000. How are you going to create 100 videos? So that is equivalent to a little bit under 2 videos a week, which is actually quite a lot. You will need to figure out a plan how to do that. So you want to figure out, okay, what is the setup that I'm going to need? What is the equipment I'm going to need? What are the skills I'm going to need to acquire in order to make those videos? What kind of system do I need in place to make it easy for me to create these videos from A to Z? Do I have a studio set up? Can I have friends help me? Do I need to get an editor? Can I edit it myself? You want to basically fill that gap. Okay? And filling that gap is going to take time. It's going to take time for you to figure out how you're going to make 2 videos a week. So you want to give yourself a week, a month, however long it is for you to get that system in place so that it's not hectic. You want to ask those big questions so that you can start filling in the gaps, you can start solving the problems that you have in order to get what you want. And next, what's really important is you want to consider a daily action plan. So if it's a skill you need to learn, maybe you're spending 30 minutes a day on editing. Okay, well, that's awesome. You're gonna spend 30 minutes a day on editing. Your skills are gonna compound because skills compound the way money compounds. You just keep stacking it, and you're gonna end up being so much more skilled than you ever thought you could be. Stack those skills. Figure out a daily plan. Maybe a daily plan is reaching out to brands every day, getting brand deals, and you also want to figure out, okay, let's say you are a content creator. How are you going to make, what are your revenue streams going to be? Is it going to be ads on YouTube videos? Is it going to be UGC content? That's user generated content. Are you going to sell a product that you're going to market to people? Are you going to do brand deals? You got to figure out what it is for you. So you want to research that industry and figure it out if it's actually an industry you want to be in. Like, is the work enjoyable for you? Are you willing to put in the effort that you're going to need to put in to get this goal? Because sometimes things look fun and shiny object syndrome. It's like, cool, that's a really great idea, but are you going to enjoy the journey? And this is back to the intrinsic thing. If you just want to be a content creator because it's cool, well, then you're going to lose motivation quick. But if you want to be a content creator because you want to share insightful information and you want to have influence and you really enjoy being in front of the camera and you love that world, it's going to go a lot better for you. So figure out the parts of what that career is going to look like. And sometimes it takes experimentation. Like for me, I have experimented so many different careers because I want to figure out, okay, like, do I like that? Sometimes you just need to experiment, but also research can work as well. And lastly, figure out what part you are in the system. So you're a part of a bigger system. Everything works in systems. And I'll talk about systems thinking a little bit more in another video, but let's say you are a content creator. Okay, well, content creation falls under the category of digital marketing. And digital marketing falls under the category of traditional marketing. And marketing is a part of a business. And so you got to figure out, okay, like, where am I in the hierarchy? Where am I in the system? Do I like my position? Is there another position I want to be in? For example, if you're an actor, I'm an actor, and it's a journey. It's a big journey. So as an actor, you are kind of at the bottom until you build a career, because you're waiting for somebody to pick you. You're not creating the storyline. You're not creating the script. You're acting it out, which is awesome, and you get to be on camera, but you got to figure out the system. Who's all involved? When I'm on a movie set, there is like sometimes 200 people there, and they are all doing separate things. It's important to consider what piece you want to be of that industry or that world. And so as I started to look into it, it's like, okay, well, a director is getting paid quite a bit, and they're getting to direct, the way the movie goes. A producer is getting to direct the people and who we hire and how all those things work. Or, a filmmaker or producer might be the person creating the storyline or the idea. You might just be so hyper-focused on one part of a huge moving system, and you're not considering that you might get bored of that over a period of time. And so you want to figure out how you can expand from that thing into more things and, build your repertoire, stack your skills. Because at some point I would love to make movies and act in them. That would be so incredible, and that's totally aligned with me. So I want both the acting skill and the filmmaking skill. The more skills you have, the more in demand you are, and the more on top you will be. And it's a long process. For me, it's been a very long process of even trying to get my vision straight and even figuring out, okay, like, how am I going to stack these and where am I going to position myself? So honestly, it could take months, it could take years, but that's okay. As long as you're enjoying the process and you're staying curious and you're asking fun questions, then you will achieve what you want to achieve in life. Know yourself, build a quality mindset, have a vision that is motivated by the right things, and create a plan of action, knowing that you're a part of something bigger and what part you're in, where you add value. Those who keep going and don't give up will succeed. Those who give up will not, because they gave up. There's just no opportunity. It's all a numbers game. So the more time you spend, the more videos you make, the more businesses you create, the more times you apply for jobs. It's all a numbers game. And I can only say this because I have given up on so many things because I felt scared and felt like it wasn't going to work out. And just like you. So it's so easy to just give up. So those are some tips on how to build your confidence, get ahead in life, and be in high demand. So thank you so much for watching. This is an absolute joy for me. My goal is just to seriously give you any tools I can. I'm constantly researching and implementing and trying different strategies on creating a holistically successful life, and that looks different for everybody, but figuring it out for me. And so I want to be able to help you. So if you are interested in that, please subscribe to our channel, What If We Can, where we ask the question, what if we can? We can always ask, what if it doesn't work out? Or what if I embarrass myself? Or what if I fail? Or what if, right? But what if we actually can? And so we're in this together, and you're gonna see on this channel informational videos, implementation videos, where me and Vitaly are kind of like guinea pigs trying things out, and we've tried a lot of really cool things already, from starting a car rental company. I'm currently in the process of starting my clothing company. We renovated an entire house. We have done so many different things, and we'll continue on that journey and share it with you. So yeah, if you guys want to see that, please subscribe and like this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm so grateful. Hopefully we can become a good community on here. Thanks guys. Bye.